Hey there, comic book fans. I'm John Anderson. I just watched episode 12 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and it was pretty good. Definitely a lot of resemblance to Mission Impossible and X-Men The Last Stand. Now, if you haven't seen the episode yet, you're probably looking at me like I'm crazy. How do those two things interconnect? And I'll get into it, but keep in mind I'm going to go through key plot points from the episode, so if you haven't seen it yet, here is your spoiler warning. And there it goes. Now, the main plot line of this episode circles around this alien symposium where a bunch of the world leaders are going to meet and discuss the idea of this new inhuman issue that concerns the safety of the human race. Thanks to some intel from the President of the United States last episode, we have some information that Malik has an inside man at the symposium, so it's up to Coulson's team to find that person. And the President suggests that they bring General Talbot, who has access to the symposium, which, if you're not familiar with, General Talbot kind of has a very distinct opinion about S.H.I.E.L.D. and wouldn't be so willing to work with them. But according to the President, he's had a change of heart and understands the good that S.H.I.E.L.D. can do and is willing to work with them. Now, as you can imagine, the team is very hesitant about this, especially when Talbot brings Carl Creel to be kind of an enforcer, which the team is really against because he's an inhuman that can adapt to any matter that he touches. And they had a lot of issues with him at the beginning of season 2, and especially Hunter is not on board with this idea, but Coulson overrules it and they move forward with the mission. Now, this is where it gets very reminiscent of Mission Impossible. Not only do you have the music score, this idea that you're infiltrating a venue to get your man, and this technology that we see with the handprint duplicator is very reminiscent of the face mask duplicator that you see in many incarnations of Mission Impossible. So as it turns out, Talbot is the inside man working for Malik, but it's not just a simple double cross. It turns out that Malik has kidnapped Talbot's son and is holding him hostage in return for Coulson. But with the team being as skilled as they are, they're able to foil Malik once again and save Talbot's son. Now, the second plot point that arises is this idea of an inhuman cure, which is very reminiscent to X-Men The Last Stand with the idea of the mutant cure. And you see both sides of the issue. You have Lincoln, who feels that the cure should be available to inhumans because not everybody adjusts to the change as well as others. And you have Daisy, who feels that being inhuman is a gift and that shouldn't be tarnished or be a possible outlet to be used as a weapon. Now, I really like the idea of this mutant cure because they only touched on it in this episode, and I hope it progresses as the season goes on. And finally, we have Grant Ward's alien and human creature that's been feeding on humans to get stronger. And he reminds me a lot of Apocalypse from X-Men because he's kind of like this all-powerful inhuman, similar to Apocalypse, how he feels himself as the father to all mutants. So that's my thoughts on episode 12. If you guys like this video, be sure to share and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook at John Ryan Anderson or on Instagram and Twitter at The Comic Look. And remember, guys, as always, comics do deserve a second look.